Hello friends and followers, welcome to another video. My name is Craig Piper. It is Monday, September 11th, 2017, and again we're going to be covering some recent news. We'll start with Finland, who recently became the latest nation to give blockchain the once-over and like what it saw. A few days ago it released an in-depth study on this technology focusing on Bitcoin. Included is a complete rundown that describes many of its intricacies, some of which were frankly above my level of understanding. But what I would like to start with actually is the conclusion. Actually, it summarizes the paper perfectly and delivers the overall message nearly in its entirety as a standalone excerpt. So here it is. The paper draws a comparison between the economic structures of the distributed Bitcoin system and a traditional electronic payment system operated by a monopolist. Several additional differences should be noted. As opposed to traditional systems, the Bitcoin system does not require trust in any entity. However, the Bitcoin system cannot provide some services. Transactions cannot be reversed in case of error or fraud, and users who lose their credentials have no way of retrieving their balance. As such, Bitcoin may be more comparable to cash than to a modern electronic payment system. Interesting. Bitcoin is a monopoly run by a protocol, not by a managing organization. Familiar monopolies are run by managing organizations with discretion to determine and then change prices, offerings, and rules. Monopolies are often regulated to prevent or at least mitigate their abuse of power. Bitcoin is not regulated. It cannot be regulated. There is no need to regulate it because as a system it is committed to the protocol as is, and the transaction fees it charges the users are determined by the users independently of the miners' efforts. Bitcoin's design as an economic system is revolutionary, and therefore would merit an economist's attention and scrutiny even if it had not been functional. Its apparent functionality and usefulness should further encourage economists to study this marvelous structure. So here we read a very balanced opinion on Bitcoin, and it almost begins to look like an endorsement. But at the same time, it does point out some of Bitcoin's inadequacies and vulnerabilities if you read it in its entirety. And by the way, I will provide the link in the comments section below. Make sure you check it out. It really is worth going through at least once and reading. There's a lot to be learned. It gets into some of the details really in depth, and there's a lot to be taken from it. So let's move on. Let's talk about some other news headlines. We'll start with Ethereum creator Vitalik Buterin provided further guidance on when to expect the much anticipated Metropolis update. We've all been chomping at the bit trying to find out more information on that because likely when it comes about the results, if they're good, it'll drive the price of Ethereum, and this is what we've all been waiting on. The process will include 2 hard forks, as it turns out, and the first phase, dubbed Byzantium, is set to release October 9th. Byzantium releasing October 9th. That's not to be confused with the testnet that releases September 18th. That's coming up here in about a week. Testnet, Byzantium, 2 separate things. Byzantium does not come out until the 9th. The date for the second phase, called Constantinople, is not yet projected, but we are told to expect at least 3 to 4 weeks of testing. Not surprising. On a similar topic, Ethereum set a new throughput record yesterday, seeing more than 500,000 transactions in a day. It's pretty impressive. And it says a lot for the growing use and acceptance of Ethereum. So there's a lot of good news, a lot of good headlines, lots to be learned if you read through the headlines. So far, the China news is still overshadowing all of this. But if we can get some specificity on what China's trying to do here, or it just washes over, some of this good news is going to start to take hold, and we should see some positive price movement. I'm looking forward to that. I almost hope there's more of a pullback, though, between now and then. If China does finally just like straight up cold turkey shut down the exchanges within its borders, we'll probably fall below 4,000. I can't really peg any technical resistance between 4,000 and really 3,100, 3,100 to 3,300 is probably the next level of technical resistance. So if we crack the $4,000 level and close there, that's where I'll be looking to initiate a new position. But we have a long way between now and then, so we'll just have to see what happens. that's all the news I have for you today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you get subscribed. That'll keep these videos coming at you in a timely manner. Make sure you stay up to date. And feel free to like or share a comment as well. I'd like to hear your feedback. Anyways, I appreciate you guys listening. As always, I'm wishing you all good health and good fortune.